Hey there. Welcome to episode number 31 of the Between Two Brands podcast. I'm your host, Bill Petrie, and I want to thank you for joining me today as we continue this little ride. Before we get rolling today, let's pay the rent as I like to do from time to time, actually, every time. Hey, distributors, you know what? It's time to wake up. Your clients are no longer satisfied with you merely acting as a middleman, slapping their logo on generic, predictable, and let's be honest, uninspiring products. What they're demanding is something more, merchandise that feels as if it were thoughtfully curated for their unique brand. Now, to stand out, your clients need something exceptional, products that truly reflect their identity and set them apart from the crowd. This is where our friend Russ Mogel and his team at Seven Sourcing come in. With over 30 years of direct custom merchandise sourcing, they are the clear leaders in the space. Here's a couple of reasons why you should only work with Seven Sourcing when it comes to custom merch sourcing. Establish relationships with vetted and trusted factories. They ensure all merchandise passes a rigorous quality control check by an accredited third party partner. They comply with, but really frequently exceed, industry standards, manufacturing requirements, and product safety regulations, and they manage every part of logistics and communicate throughout every step of the process. In other words, with their expertise, they know how to deliver bespoke merchandise that will position the distributor, that's you, as the hero in the eyes of the client, while also steering clear of those common pitfalls that come with managing it on your own. Now, to be clear, yeah, it does take a little bit more time, typically between 75 and 90 days, to design, develop, and deliver truly unique and original merchandise. But isn't that extra planning worth it to craft exceptional products that foster lasting loyalty? I absolutely believe it. I'm not just saying that. I absolutely believe it because the stuff that Russ and his team does will blow your mind. Hey, when you're ready to elevate yourself from just a promotional products distributor to a true partner who delivers exactly what clients crave, unique, custom branded merchandise designed specifically for them, reach out to Russ and his team at sevensourcing.com. Now, if you're watching me today on video, which sometimes people do, you'll notice I am not in my usual podcast studio. For years, I've been podcasting at home, and I think a lot of you know, earlier this year, actually in January, I got an office, and that's where I'm broadcasting from today. Wanted to give it a try, see how it felt, see how it recorded, see how everything kind of went. I kind of like this space for the podcast. I'm ready to kind of move that production out of my house for the most part, but it gives me some flexibility. So let me know what you think. As the kids say, drop it in the comments below. Hey, so what I want to talk about today, and again, the gift that keeps on giving, the Promotional Products Professionals group in Facebook. Uh, I'm going to title this Shame on an Industry Educator. There was someone who posted in the Promotional Products Professionals group last week, and there's a direct quote, is there anyone on this page from PCNA have an event date, have an event dated order in-house and can't get a response from anyone there? Now, as you might expect, there was the typical piling on. People started complaining about PCNA. Their service is terrible. All the things that happen when one person opens the floodgates that they're having an issue with a specific supplier. It seems like everybody comes out of the woodwork. But one stuck out for me that was, to me, just wrong. And it was from someone who purports to be an industry educator. I'm not going to name the person. If you want to go down a rabbit hole and figure it out, you sure can. That's not my place. But he said, went to the PCN, this is a direct quote, went to the PCNA booth at Chicago ASI to talk to them about their bad service. The reps there looked at me like I was stupid for thinking that. They have no clue. Um, that struck a chord with me because for someone who purports to be an industry educator who seeks to help distributors grow their business, man, that is the last thing a distributor should have, should say to a supplier, or should say about a supplier in a public forum like that. Even if it's remotely true, how does that help? So I decided to get involved, as you know, sometimes I will do, and I wrote directly. I posted to this person's comment, how is this comment even remotely helpful? I'm not defending or prosecuting PCNA, but this type of piling on is the furthest thing from a value add, and I stand by it. This person's response was, you seem to know PCNA well. Who is the owner of that supplier? My response, you know, you can read it. It's a long one, but I don't know who the supplier is. I'm sorry, I know who the supplier is. I don't know who the ownership is, but I also know there's quite a few people at PCNA who are caring, who want the best for their distributor partners. And you know what? Things sometimes go wrong. And if anybody did a little bit of digging into PCNA and why they're having some sort of issue or why this issue might have happened, there's a well documented, if you just pay attention, there's a well documented system upgrade that impacted order processing and customer service, and they've been very upfront about it. So, my advice to anybody in the promotional products group when somebody is reaching out for real help, and I think they were, direct them to someone at PCNA. Tag someone you know at the supplier, whether it's PCNA or not. Tag someone from the supplier. Hey, they might be able to help you. We've all run into those issues, but piling on, man, that doesn't help. And as far as the reps in Chicago, quote unquote, looking at this person like they were stupid for quote, challenging or questioning customer service, number one, reps in that booth, they're probably tired. That is a hard job being a supplier, and it's a really tough job being a supplier when you're at a show. And when someone comes at you and they're clearly loaded for bear, that might be a really tough place to have that conversation. And it might not be an appropriate place either. Plus, it's quite possible that those reps might not have known about the issues attached to the system upgrade yet because that was several weeks ago. They might not have had a clue. It might not have, so they, you said they have no clue. Well, that might be literal. They might not have a clue. So have a little grace, people. I'm really, I don't know, maybe it's my age or whatever, but I am really growing weary of people not giving people or organizations grace. And they're so quick to think the worst of people as opposed to thinking of the best. So, industry educator, shame on you. This is ridiculous. It's really a shame that you felt the need to do that. So, there's my preamble for the day. But before we get to our amazing guest, let's pay another little bit of the rent, shall we? Hey, you know what season it is? That's right. It's business valuation season. Now, perhaps you don't know what your company's worth. Maybe it's been more than a few years since your last valuation, and you need a new benchmark to see if your company is increasing in value. Heck, you might want to see if it's time to sell your business. Regardless of the reason, Jamie Watson and the experts at Certified Marketing Consultants, they have extensive experience in the world of branded merchandise and the financial knowledge necessary to provide a fact-based valuation of your business. Simply email them at info@certifiedmarketing.com today for a confidential discussion. All right, that's enough of the preamble. Let's go ahead and welcome our guest. My first and only guest today, maybe he needs an introduction, might not need an introduction. I really don't care. Introducing him anyway. He is the founder of PromoPilot, a tech consulting and automation company helping businesses in the promotional products industry do more and do more with less manual effort and a lot more tech. PromoPilot uses no-code solutions to streamline workflows, reduce errors, and free up teams to focus on what really matters. And we all know what that is, kids. Building relationships and driving sales. He's also known for being a little unexpected. He has a habit of casually dropping bizarre facts about his life, and we're going to get into that, like implanted microchips, Oprah Winfrey cameos, and so much more. Ask him about it sometime. You should. I might not. Again, I wish we knew. Just don't ever expect a normal conversation with my friend, my good friend, the founder and CEO of PromoPilot, the good time player man, Eric Granata. Eric, thank you so much for doing the podcast. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, Bill, thank you. And thanks for that intro. I hope it doesn't end up being as bizarre as it could be.
And see, that's where I'm going to have to really push back. I hope it's even more bizarre than it could be. You and I have had many conversations over the years, and I always leave learning something. So let's at least focus on that part of it.
Got it.
All right. So I think you might have something, a couple things you want to talk about. I've got five very easy questions for you to answer. But what do you got for me today?
Yeah. So, Bill, looking at your social media, it seems like you have maybe a hatred for novelty snack flavors. What is it about novelty snack flavors that bothers you so much? And why is the Coca-Cola Oreo collab the best one?
Well, it's okay. So you have done some research. I I because I don't like them because they rarely deliver on the promise. That's number one. I am continually disappointed with the amped up extreme flavors that are supposed to taste great. 9 times out of 10, they're horrible. It's never an improvement on the original. As far as or as far as just amped up snack foods, not everything needs to be extreme, spelled with an X, no E. I just don't feel the need for that. Um, but I will say the Coca-Cola Oreos on both directions, the Coca-Cola beverage with the Oreo flavoring, which was bizarrely amazing. I wish it was not a limited release. I hoarded as much of that shit as I could. Those were amazing. And then the cookies themselves had this Coca-Cola flavor. It worked and it worked well. But for every one of those that works, most of them don't. And I see them all the time. I mean, the walking in the grocery aisles these days, and you probably see it too. Everything is a weird collab. I think the last one that worked was like Slim Jim and Tabasco, other than the Coca-Cola and Oreos. That's a good one. That's another good one.
Yeah, I could see that working. Very
So
good. Yeah.
yeah, I hate that. I hate the weird snack flavors because I'm always intrigued. I'm a sucker for it. I am an absolute sucker for it, but I'm always left disappointed. So I guess you could say I end up breaking my own heart while filling my belly with bad salty snack treats.
Yeah, that's relatable. I too really liked the Coca-Cola Oreo collaboration on both
Yeah.
sides. 7-Eleven even had an icy that was pretty nice. But yeah, the extreme with an X is very 90s coded, and it feels
Yeah.
like they're trying to appeal to the elder millennial Gen X nostalgia.
Yeah. Well,
But
and
it kind
I
of
just saw
works.
one. Speaking of 7-Eleven, do you know they just released I don't know if it was a collab with somebody. I think it was, but it was a hot dog flavored seltzer water, like hot dog
No,
water. And see,
no,
that's why I'm
see,
out.
yeah, no, not
I'm
into it.
making my own point here, and I've been
Yeah,
wanting to talk about it on the podcast for a few weeks. So you gave me I saw an opening, so I went right after it.
good, good, interesting. I have one more question for you, if I
Sure,
might.
you might.
So, word on the street is that you were a swimmer in high school. And while you aren't much of a swimmer these days, are there any lessons from your time with Coach Steve Rainey that stick with you today?
Yeah, wow, you did do your research. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I was talking to my wife about Coach Rainey today. Yeah, I'd say the one that stuck with me. I was never a speed guy. Swam year round. I was a distance guy, and so growing up in North Texas, I was on the junior varsity my freshman and sophomore years, and it was expected that in my junior year I would make the varsity team for my junior and senior year. And of course, there's tryouts, and I tried out, and I was not named to varsity, which was really difficult for me. All my friends made varsity and I didn't. And I remember going into Coach Rainey's office and saying, I'm going to quit. This is obviously I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. Some sort of woe me, poor me, pity me thing. And he said, I want you to sit down. And I did. And he flat out told me, he goes, do you want to be a quitter your whole life? I mean, just that bold. And I said, I'm not quitting because I'm quitting. I'm quitting because I'm not good enough. He goes, you're good enough. You're just not there yet. You need to keep training. And he gave me a specific training outline to do. And he goes, we'll revisit this in 3 weeks. And we did. And I ended up making the team second go around. So I still take that lesson for me today that I may not be the smartest. I may not be the most creative. I may not be the fastest, but you'd be hard pressed to find someone who will outwork me. There are things that I can't physically do, right? I can't physically fly. At some point, everybody's athletic career ends. Whether you stop in middle school, high school, college, pros, whatever. If you have did any sort of athletic endeavor, there's a time your body just cannot do it, cannot compete any longer. But I really learned how not to quit. And that I still stick with that today. It was a great lesson. He was a great Great man. Sadly passed away of cancer about 10 years ago, and just a tremendously influential person in my life. And I think we all have those, and they probably don't even realize how influential they are. And, here I am, shit, 40 years later and still remember that conversation.
What a legacy. That's great. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing some hardcore research. I'm gonna I'm not prepared to ask how you did that, but I might at a time of my choosing. But I do tend to share a lot of stuff. Okay. Anything else, or are we popping into your questions now?
I'm ready for it.
Okay. Uh, so I did my research as well. You have had a long affinity, maybe it's an obsession for our avian friends, and heck, your PromoPilot mascot, for lack of a better term, is a parrot with an old school leather helmet, as if flight helmet goggles, things like that. At one point, I believe 22 parrots of different species lived in your home growing up. My question is this: were you ever nervous to watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds in the bird room, as it was called in your house, for fear it might give them ideas?
Um, so there isn't a simple answer to that. But I'll say this about birds and parrots in particular. One of the appealing qualities they have is they have these eyes. And when they're looking at you, they see you and they understand you. It's like they're evaluating your soul and trying to determine if you are worthy to be their companion. And to that extent, I think they're very smart, and they don't need a Hitchcock film to give them those ideas. In fact, I'm pretty sure that most birds are evil incarnate. My friend and I used to joke. I had a parrot named Mac growing up. Mac, like the computer, not a coincidence. And my friend and I would joke that there would become a day where Mac decided to overthrow humanity, but he would allow us to live for his entertainment as jesters in his
Oh,
dystopian court, right? Um, when I thought about that concept as a kid, I thought, man, one day it would be really fun to have a tattoo of Mac with like an iron claw or some cybernetic
right.
implant, right? To tell a little bit of the story. And behind him is a city on fire, just desolate, right? And I thought that would be a good tattoo. My wife 86'd that idea. There is
That's
no
unfortunate.
tattoo.
That is
I'll tell you what's
unfortunate.
it is unfortunate, but ChatGPT has made some pretty fun images of Mac overthrowing humanity, and those are nice to look at from time to time.
Those are a quick follow-up question that has nothing to do. So I'm blindsiding you. You and I both use a lot of AI. We'll talk probably about that here in a minute. Uh, from a graphic engineering perspective, graphic creation perspective, do you prefer Midjourney or ChatGPT, and why?
So, from image generation, other modalities, use cases like vibe coding, I'm a ChatGPT person, and I don't think it's because ChatGPT is great at all of them. I just have a really hard time switching to Claude or another model.
Yeah.
I think it's just the way my brain works. Like, now I only have space up here to work with one of them.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Hey, so second question. After you spent most of your life in the promotional products world on the distributor side, in fact, all of it except for PromoPilot, if I'm right. And you did that with Robin in Oklahoma. You did it with Brand Fuel. Where, what did you see in the marketplace that made you take the leap into entrepreneurship with PromoPilot?
Question. So I'm pretty vocal these days about the partnership I have with Zapier. And the truth
Yeah.
is, Zapier, and for listeners and viewers who may not be familiar with it, Zapier is a no code slash AI orchestration platform that which is very fancy to say you can do very cool things with it without having to be a programmer. And Zapier has played a part in a lot of the work that I've done in the promo industry. Um, I I have slung code before, but a lot of the times I don't need to. I can just put something
Yeah.
together with these no code tools. And so at the time when I was on the distributor side, that is this secret sauce in Zapier was not something I shared very openly. And maybe that came out of this like industry insecurity about commoditization, and we all
Right.
need our own little special thing to make us different. When I started PromoPilot, my thinking was I want to be a little bit more vocal about what Zapier can do, not only for businesses, but also for careers. It can be a transformative element. And it feels good to share that with somebody, to watch somebody start using Zapier, have the opportunity to kind of coach them along. And then eventually I don't hear from them again because they're crushing it. And
Right.
they've become their own little automation expert at their company. If PromoPilot does nothing else but introduce the industry to these types of tools, I will be very happy to have played a small part in elevating the work that we do in this industry.
I love that answer in transparency. I've actually connected with several of my clients, and I know one that they have really adopted a lot of what you have done, and you've helped transform them. And it's almost like having kids, right? You raise them so that they leave and are independent, and it's still a little sad when they go, but tremendously prideful that you've been able to help them. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. Now, more than anyone I know, Eric, uh, you're wired into technology, quite literally, as we're about to find out. A few years back, you had an NFC chip implanted into your hand, which in my mind kind of makes you a Terminator. I'm asking you right now, with all your cybernetic superpowers, I'd like you to deny any and all rumors of Judgment Day in the world of promotional products.
Okay, yeah, the microchip was fun. My wife injected it into my hand at the kitchen table during quarantine. It was a strange time for all of us, I think.
That
And
doesn't
I still,
excuse it.
it does not excuse it. I still have it today, though. In terms of judgment in branded merch, I think that judgment comes for us all.
Yes,
And
it does.
if you have sold a stress ball in the last couple of decades, I think that now is the time to repent because there's going to be a reckoning. Um, Although I'm a little curious about what you think of as a judgment day in branded merch, and the reason I ask is for the last few months I've had something like existential dread for the
Hmm.
industry, and I don't know if it's related to all the consolidation or the companies who kind of dance around the periphery who are looking in at opportunities. I do feel like in the next couple of years, we're probably going to see some disruption, and I think some of that is technology related, but I think there's other forces at work.
Okay, so I'm going to answer your question. We are currently in Judgment Day right now. It is information is cheaper and easier to get than ever before. And the mystery secret sauce of this industry for far too long has been I, as a promotional products distributor, have magical access to all these products that I can put your phone number on, and then it was I can put your name and your phone number on it. Now we can put a logo on it and do these amazing decorated tools. There are too many distributors at this point who are just happy to do exactly that. Slap a logo on a product and cash a check. They will die. I think they're dying right now. I think that's why we're seeing so much consolidation. However, that creates opportunity for true boutique distributor agencies that not only think about the entire experience of branded merchandise and are able to create experiences that people are willing to pay for again and again and again, they also look at promotional products or branded merchandise as, yeah, that's the hub of what I do and that's where everything's based in. But we also do SEO, we do digital marketing, we do all these things. It's part of a more agency approach. I think that's where the pendulum's going. And so I think we're kind of in that moment of reckoning now. And you mentioned it, yeah, some of it's technology, but a lot of it is the private equity looking in. I think you two ought to match it up, and then people find themselves out of a gig because they're just, unfortunately, we as an industry have done a very poor job of innovating ourselves. That's why one of the things I look at when I look at innovation in the industry It's not distributors and it's not suppliers. It's service providers, 1000%. Because every service provider I know, you, Jason Noakes, commonsku, every service provider I know has had to carve out a niche for themselves and had to absolutely color outside the lines to create something that didn't exist before.
I could not agree more. I think that if our value proposition is knowing how to navigate supply chain secrecy, knowing what on a C means,
Yeah, pricing
like
codes.
we've got to do better than that. And I do like the agency model where merch becomes a medium
Mhm.
of transportation for marketing goals.
Yeah,
There's
it's a
a
vehicle.
friend in the industry. Yeah, there's a friend in the industry who says that he doesn't solve product or he doesn't sell products. He sells outcomes. And I
Hmm.
absolutely love it. And I want to give props to Nathan Goldberg at Specialized for that one.
Love that.
Um, FYI, did you see the Chat GPT demo a couple of weeks ago where they were talking about agents? And just to clarify what an agent is an AI tool that takes action for you. It doesn't just regurgitate text, it's doing something. And during this hour-long live stream that OpenAI had, they wanted to show an agent taking action and doing something. And the use case they picked was I have an event coming up and I want to order some stickers for it. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to design my stickers and go find me a good price and put that order together. That's what they picked
Yeah,
for
it's
their
amazing.
demo.
It's
And
crazy.
oh man, it was an oh shit moment for me. Like
Yeah,
we're not the only ones thinking about this.
no. And if you as a distributor and you're listening to this podcast, understand that now is the time to really realize that you've got to do more than just put logos on things. You've got to add value. You've got to sell outcomes. You've got to sell emotions. You've got to sell connection. The product is just the vehicle. That's it. Nothing more. And we far too long have been, oh, we've got a new, hey, what's new this year? It's not a Yeti. It's a Yeti with a blinky light. I bet you're interested in that. And we got to get away from that. That's great, great conversation. All right. Now you are my go-to when it comes to AI. You can ask Eric. I will call him or text him or email him and say, hey, I've got a question about AI. And more importantly, you're my go-to when it comes to streamlining workflows and creating operational efficiencies. Now, what, if any, real concerns do you have about the proliferation of AI tools? Maybe it's just what you said, so it might be a little redundant, but what is your real concern about the proliferation of AI tools, both inside and outside the promotional products industry?
Yeah, two things come to mind with this question. The first is I can feel myself getting stupider. Like
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Chat, G- Chat ChatGPT and AI has become such a crutch. Like, like I said, I can feel myself getting stupider. I can't even formulate this answer without, itching to go ask ChatGPT with what I should
Right.
say. So that's a concern, and I think there's been some research about how it's affecting the way we think. Hopefully, not
Yeah.
all for the worse. The other thing that gives me the heebs with regards to AI is there's some data privacy implications that make me feel a little funny. For example, ChatGPT, I think it was 2 weeks ago, if you had ever shared a chat thread, that chat thread is now searchable through
Yeah.
Google, which,
Yeah.
like, I mean, we've all heard we shouldn't put personal identifiable information or proprietary information into these
Mhm.
prompts, but we probably are.
Yeah.
So that, that's something to watch out for. As far as the industry goes, I think we have really positive opportunity to use artificial intelligence. What I hope we can do soon is stop being dazzled by AI drafting an email or rewriting a product description. Like that is, I'm so bored with that. There's so much more stuff that we can do with AI. For example, data analysis. All of our businesses
Mhm.
have their own information and their own proprietary data. Can we use AI to surface insights that only we have based on our unique data sets? And then the other is something I mentioned earlier, agentic workflows. AI working for us and with us, not just regurgitating text. That's the stuff
Totally
that
agree.
excites me.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm at the point now, and like you, I use Chat GPT often. I can see so many times now people using it, and you can spot the identifiers if you know what to look for. You can see who's using AI generated text for their product descriptions or for blogs or for social media posts. It's real easy if you know what to look for. What excites me about it is collaboration. You're
Yes,
about to say something.
AI makes a great thought partner. What I was going to say was, okay, like with regards to the M dashes and the
Hmm.
formatting, in my defense, I like the M dash and have been a fan for a while, and
Me too.
I like to format my emails so that they're readable.
Yeah.
I do draft emails with AI sometimes, but not all the time. So lay
I
off.
I I do too. And look, I've used the M dash for years. I've been using it for 20 years. And so now I feel like I shouldn't use it as much because now I know that's one of those weird identifiers. So I try not to, but when I write something, I write a blog every week. I don't run it through Chat GPT, but I do run it through Grammarly, which is an AI tool, and it helps optimize the text. But I always look at, okay, I wrote this. I wrote it 100%, and I will go and there's a tab there, and you can see it'll see if there any sort of plagiarism, but it'll also check for common AI
Mm,
looks and phrases and things like that. It's always amazing to me. It's my words, it's my brain, and I'm putting it in there to correct the dumbness I bring to the table in terms of grammar and punctuation and things like that. And it tells me 42% of my text resembles AI. I'm like, but I didn't. That's not. So that either AI is getting that good or I'm that bad. I don't know, but it's interesting. But I do think it's a tremendously collaborative tool for me. Working as somewhat of a solopreneur, it is great to bounce things off of. I don't write blogs with it or anything like that, but man, as a collaborative partner, it's amazing. As an bouncing ideas, it's fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic.
And I'm glad you mentioned being a solopreneur, which is relatable. To tie that back to distributors real quick, I think that these tools are allowing somebody out there, maybe more than one person, to currently be building the first like solo $10 million distributor. That's
1000%.
that's what is very interesting to see is
Yeah.
how AI will enable folks to do that.
Totally agree. Last question. I know you both love and hate doing things outside your comfort zone, and public speaking comes to mind. And I know you had a really killer session at PPI Expo this past January. How did you get past your fear, and what was it like on the other side for you?
I don't know that I got past my fear. I did years ago have a speaking opportunity, and I was very anxious, and I'm an anxious person. And so, about an hour before going on stage, I took a medication that my doctor prescribed for anti-anxiety, and it kicked in, and it was like the worst. I know it has to be the worst presentation given. Everybody was falling asleep with me. It was rough, and so none of that anymore. Now I embrace the high heart rate and the sweaty neck and just power through it. Um, I just over prepare. I like to throw a joke or two in,
Yeah.
maybe an obscure like geek culture reference that gets one awkward chuckle from the back,
Right.
right? And then I go for it. In terms of why I put myself in uncomfortable positions, I read something about how our perception of time tends to slow down when we're doing something novel or new.
Hmm.
And I really like to embrace that, whether it means saying yes to a speaking gig, going on a bear hunt, or injecting a chip into my hand. We only get to do this thing once. So
Yeah.
let's try a
No,
little bit of all.
I love that. And look, and me, I've done public speaking for years and I still get ridiculously nervous the 5 minutes leading up to it. It doesn't go away. And like you, I always sprinkle in a couple Easter eggs. If someone in the audience might know, most time it's for my own amusement.
Yep.
So I completely get it. Hey, before we say goodbye, big thanks to our pals over at Seventh Sourcing for sponsoring this absolutely fine platinum level broadcast. When you're ready to partner, to be the partner your clients want, the one that delivers unique, custom, and bespoke custom merch that's designed exclusively, easy for me to say, for them, reach out to Russ Mogel and his team over at sales at seventhsourcing.com. Eric, I can't thank you enough. It's always great talking to you. I always learn something. And so it was a lot of fun. I'd like to do it again sometime.
Thank you so much, Bill.